actually there is a table, but it's a folding table, so it kind of hides itself a little bit. So they would have pulled that out, lifted the arms up, and it would have actually made a bigger table. What else? Where's the bathroom?
Outside.
Outside, right? Outside. What about the furnace?
Don't have one.
Not right now, do they? Actually, what about if they didn't have a furnace, then what did they have? They heat their house somehow? How'd they heat it?
They use either wood cook stove or fireplace.
Where is it?
It's probably not in here, but in the room. Probably in the room.
You're right. It's actually out here. Now, off the back here is what they call a summer kitchen. A summer kitchen is just like it sounds. It's a kitchen they use in the summer. So, right now the stove's out there because it is summertime yet, right? So, in the winter, it'll actually get put back in here. And this here is a chimney. So they would have hooked up the stove to the chimney. That's where it would have sat. Because in the wintertime, you need the heat, right? Because it gets pretty cold here in Iowa. And she still needs a place to cook. Now, in the summer, she would have done it out there because you don't need the heat anymore, but you still need a place to cook. So, what about, we talked about there was a bathroom out there. What about the rest of the stuff you need? What about a shower or a sink?
They used a tub.
They used the tub, didn't they? Yeah. Do you see anything in here that could be used to take a bath or wash your hands or anything? Anywhere? If you pay special attention to the bedroom there, you might see something. Anything in there that could be used? Yeah.
Bowl.
Yep. That white bowl and the white basin there actually has a bar of soap laying right next to it. That's actually kind of like their sink. So they fill that base full of water out at the pump and bring it in here, dump it in the bowl, and that's what you'd wash your hands in to get cleaned up, right? Yeah.
What is that? Looks like part of a light.
This here?
Yeah.
Alright, yeah, somebody mentioned that before. Or somebody mentioned that they saw wires before. Well, something that the park has to do is we have to make sure this place stays safe at all times. So that means a lot of things. That means we have to keep it safe from fires, and that's actually what that is. It's a sprinkler. So if there's ever a fire in here, the sprinklers will kick on and hopefully put out the fire.
Smoke detector?
Yep, there's a smoke detector. If you look behind you there, that thing there is actually a motion detector. So if anybody tries to break in, it's going to sound off an alarm and the police get called. So that's things that we have to do to keep these places safe. Because just because they're in the park doesn't necessarily mean they're safe. They can still burn down. They can still have things happen to them. So we have to put in things like sprinklers, motion sensors, other things like that to make sure that if anything does happen, that hopefully it'll be stopped as soon as possible.
So are the wires to the motion sensor?
They go all over. There's different, there's motion sensors, the smoke alarms have wires that go to them, there's all kinds of things. Because when the fire alarms go off, it automatically calls the fire department. So they just show up. We don't even have to call anybody. So that's what happens. Because if it happens in the middle of the night, nobody's going to be around to hear the smoke alarm going off. So that's why the fire department gets the call. Yeah.
How come there's like keyholes on those?
It would have been something that possibly could have been locked at one time. If you wanted to keep your children out of there, if you're having special things in there that you didn't want anybody messing with, you could have possibly locked it at one time. We don't lock it anymore, but so this is some furniture. None of the furniture here is from Herbert's family. It's just stuff of the time period. So this would have been similar to furniture that he had, but it's not actually stuff that he would have used. Okay. So we talked about all the stuff that's missing. Now, why don't we step out here in the back porch for a second?
Of course I wasn't you.
Take a look in here. This is what they call the summer kitchen. And after you've had a look, kind of step off to the side here so other people can get a glimpse in there. You see the stove? Can you imagine having to lift that big stove up twice a year to move it inside or back out of the house. Would that be pretty easy to do?
No.
Probably not. Probably would have taken 2 or 3 guys to be able to move that back and forth all the time.
It'd be hard just to do.
So what about something over here? What am I standing on, do you think?
The door?
It is the door. Where does it go, do you think? It actually does go to a basement now. The park, when they got the house, they had to do some renovation work to it, and so there's actually a full basement under here now that you can go down in. But back when Herbert lived here, it would have been just a root cellar. Now that could have been anything, even just a hole in the ground that they could have gone to store things from their garden and to hide some tomatoes. So that's the only other room in the house. Other than that, what you see is what you get. It's pretty tiny, right? Yeah.
So technically, it would be a 3-room cottage type thing?
Technically, it could be considered a 3-room cottage. Yep. But they actually considered it a 2-room just because the summer kitchen, you actually have to walk outside to be able to get back in it. So that's the only reason. But it could be considered a 3-room. Well, if you guys are ready, I think Adam is ready for you.